Actually, where did you put the link? I couldn't find it.
Welcome everybody to the Lore Reloaded. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures. We are back now. Hold on, let me get this this link for somebody real quick for Jesse.
It's me because I'm annoying.
It's right here. It's in the chat in Discord.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
No problem. Guys, if you don't remember, this is a fun game brought to us by Modifus. I will include the link to them in the description below if I remember after this. But it's kind of just a fun event where we just sit back and enjoy, and your favorite Trek YouTubers just enjoy what's going on. Hey, if you'd like to impact the game or the actual story, that's easy to do as well. You can consider doing a super chat. One will do a minor effect. I think $5 does a moderate effect, and then 10 and over, you can do some major changes. So, also, while we are going through this and having some fun, you can additionally give tips and tricks. They'll be reading the chat, assuming that this is actually going out to people, because it does not appear to be doing so. But okay,
I see it.
Is live. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Except it's unlisted.
Yes, it is unlisted. Yes, that is true.
That's why it's not going out to people.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, sorry.
I hate my life. I hate everything about my life.
I'm tweeting out the link, so you might get people from that. But
I'm the second.
Yeah, I already did that on mine too. Why can I not find you on?
Let me just quick put it on my Patreon.
Twitter?
Second or third largest YouTuber. And when it comes to Trek, and I don't even know how to do live streams. This is why my life is a failure. All right, guys. We are going to be getting started very shortly. As I stated, it's going to be a lot of fun. So y'all should definitely sit back and enjoy. Now, I've already given the kind of the precursor to what's been going on, but just so we can get it out of the way, Jesse, why don't you tell us about your character a little bit and just give us a little background.
Yeah, my character is Talos Shran, descended from the one and only wonderful Shran from Star Trek Enterprise. She is basically, think, a Han Solo type, Andorian Han Solo type. She grew up kind of in a kind of worst area of Andoria and kind of got brought in with the bad crowd, a sort of crowd that was an extremist group that basically wanted to kick Andoria out of the Federation and go their own way, kind of sort of a militaristic upbringing. She sort of saw herself in the line of Shran as someone who was like military leader, proud lineage, that sort of thing. But then she sort of realized after she was saved by a Starfleet officer when she was younger who showed her mercy when she kind of got caught up in a sort of bigger than herself and her. Then she realized a moment when the group tried to attack a Federation group. So she decided to leave that life and join Starfleet and is now trying to make up for her past sins, but also is still kind of rough around the edges.
Love it. Lore Runner, how about yourself?
So I decided to, after the last game, I was like, you know what? Last game I walked in, big, expansive backstory, all that crap, and that was a huge mistake. So what I've decided to do is try to make the most plain Jane vanilla, boring guy I could possibly think of. So I am a human who is in Starfleet who wants to be in command. That's about my backstory.
I love you, Lord.
How unique.
Think of me like Harry Kim, but slightly better acted.
So you'll just stay.
No offense, Garrett Wong.
You'll stay an ensign for forever.
Yep. Nope. That's pretty. Knowing my GM, that is exactly what I'm expecting.
And then get a strike against your career that'll ensure you never get captain, even though your best friend has done worse.
Listen, I don't want to get into that again. Yes, plain boring Jane. That's me. That's all I got.
All right, so let's just jump into it then. I've already kind of discussed, for those who don't know, Star Trek Adventures, it's a different kind of game. It's more cerebral than most Dungeons & Dragons or pen and paper games, so be a lot of talking, a lot of fun. I included a picture of Frostpunk, the Borg, and a ship exploding, so you know what you're in store for, at least in the first episode. So
lots of Wilhelm screams.
Yeah, exactly. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the intro. The universe was entering a time of uncertainty. The hostilities between the Dominion and the Federation was ever increasing. Tensions were high, and no one was sure how the war was going to happen, or if it was going to happen, but most thought it was inevitable. Things have only gone from bad to worse, as word does come out that the Cardassians have agreed to be absorbed into the Dominion. However, all of this just comes out as stories for you, as you're hearing about them but aren't witnessing them firsthand. You find yourselves on the USS Maxwell Forest, a steamrunner class vessel that has been retrofitted for science and exploration. For 6 months, the Maxwell Forest has been making its way towards the Mercurius Expanse, an unexplored region that Starfleet has taken an interest in. While the events of what have been occurring do have some of the crew believing that they should return to the Federation and assist, orders from the Admiralty are to continue on and do what Starfleet was meant to do. After all, Starfleet's first mission is to explore strange new worlds and seek out civilizations. And that's what you're about to do. So, the ship itself is going to be entering into the Mercurius Expanse very shortly. Now, on the 6 months, I wanted to give you a chance to see if there's anything you think your characters would be doing or anything that they would be preparing for. I know I'm hitting you with this, so if you don't have anything, that's fine. But is there anything you think your characters would be prepping for when it comes to this?
Am I on duty or off duty at the moment?
Well, this is just during the 6 months, so you go in and off duty, obviously.
Gotcha.
So it's not the instant moment. Just when it comes to the 6 months, was your character doing anything specific?
I like to think that this wonderful Andorian and it was Andorian, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like to play cards. There's this new game we came up with called Sabak, but unfortunately it led to a bit of an altercation, and we're not sure who shot first, but...
Well, I like to make very clear that I shot first, and only true followers of my story believe that I shot first.
I would agree.
True followers, also known as squads, and some of them have
Some
of them
happen to be daddies,
happen to be fathers.
I like to think that I've been really boring for the last 6 months. Like, you know the type, right? Like the kind that you actually absolutely want to work with in real life, but they're not fun on TV. That type of person.
It's like when you're off duty, I happen upon you in 10 forward, and you're just staring out the window, and I go, "Hey,
I'm just doing that. Hey, what's going on, Ensign Barbarella, right?"
Yeah, I've totally seen you. How are things? Oh, they're good.
Yeah, and it's just kind of back and forth. It's just this really dry thing because I'm really, really boring.
I've taken you under my wing and tried to teach you all the games of chance. It's like, hey, let's play some Dabo, and I just
Dabo. I think I've heard of that. Isn't that a Ferengi game?
Sure. Yeah. But sure.
Sure it is. Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll guess I'll go ahead and I'll watch the game. Yeah, sure. Oh, this is
how much Latinum? How much Latinum?
Oh man, I've just got loaded. See, my parents died years ago, but they left me this giant vault of gold.
You and I are going to be best friends.
Awesome. So how do I play this game?
Being in Starfleet, he's obviously loaded as well.
Yeah, I'm completely loaded, especially since I'm a hardcore Starfleet. He's born on Earth, by the way. It's part of my backstory.
The only part of his backstory.
Yes, I am from Earth.
So just all of Earth, nowhere in particular, just Earth.
One day the Earth shook, and lo, I became I suppose if I was to get specific, so I went with a name that's kind of more United Statesy. My name is Marcus, by the way. I didn't even mention that. My character name's Marcus. Nice and easy to remember.
No relation to a Carol?
Nope. That's my first name. Sorry, my last name's actually Masterson. So
Marcus Masterson.
Yes.
Dear God. Sounds like a supervillain comic book name.
Well, listen, Other already knows about that, so let's just leave that on that. We need to leave some foreshadowing for the future. But once I get my command, I will be able to. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Oh, I'm good with letting you try to figure it
No.
out.
I'm good. I'm done. Take over the ship later.
So it has been a few days, but finally the Maxwell Forest has crossed into the Mercurius Expanse. And while there was a party celebrating it that day, not a lot has happened. That is until a few hours ago when you have been ordered to the shuttle bay. You guys, anything going to happen while you're going to the shuttle bay? Or are you just going to go directly there?
I'm already there. Like I
I
was actually there running a check on the shuttles themselves, trying to make sure everything was going properly, just going down the list, trying to prove that I'm the kind of man who does his job and does it properly, does it in advance. Actually, one of my values is specifically if a job is worth doing, it's worth doing right. So, I'm just doing what I can.
Living that dream.
just realized that I'm supposed to be at the shuttle bay at the last possible minute, so I'm kind of rushing in, like half putting on my uniform.
Oh my God, it's the Odd Couple.
Like competent and just like I don't give a crap.
So it takes a couple of minutes. Since you're already there, Lore Runner, it takes a couple of minutes, but after everyone arrives, you notice the small dais has been set up, or dais, or however you say the word. Maybe you even helped set it up. On it has the executive officer, Commander Olma, a female Deltan, and a younger red-headed human ensign wearing a blue uniform.
Can I just say, just to add to the boring nature of my character, that I am totally immune to the Delton.
That doesn't surprise me. So
it's nothing, just nothing. I just hello, can I help you? And she is expecting something, and I'm just Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you like look over at me, and I'm just like,
yeah. Well, I mean, everyone else is too, because that's how they were. It just everyone comes to the show, like,
you even say that you're like, I have no sexual attraction to you, like just straight out.
That's what you say. That's the first thing you say to everybody.
I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. I've seen Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It's a good way to start the workday. Hello, I am not sexually attracted to you.
Thank you.
Definitely a movement away from Roddenberry's views, but all right.
Yeah.
If I could jump in really
Roddenberry's canon.
I was actually really tempted to make a Vulcan, but the problem is, while I can play a Vulcan, I don't think I can do it here because I'm laughing too much.
Yeah, people come just to hear the jokes. They don't actually want to hear what's going on.
They don't give a damn about the story of the game. Nah.
And by the way, just a reminder, you guys, if you have questions, you can interrupt or whatever in character as well. So, the young ensign, redheaded ensign in blue, slowly steps forward as everyone gathers, and she clears her throat. She says, "Thank you for coming. I'm Ensign Scruh. We've been given a mission by command to." And as she's talking, she seems very out of her element, somewhat. I don't want to say concerned or anything, but nervous, we'll say. So she continues on. We've been given a mission to command and assist a civilization on a nearby planet. She pauses a moment and takes a pad that had been in her hand, tapping at it, and a hologram appears behind her. She looks back to it and is motioning over it while everyone's looking. They're on a Class M planet. It's not exactly hospitable, though. The planet is experiencing a deep ice age. It would seem the populace has their entire culture is now dedicated to survival. It seems that their planet has shifted, and as she's talking, suddenly the ship lurches to the left and then to the right with the red alert klaxons coming back and forth. It seems like the ship is having a lot of trouble just staying still, even with inertial dampeners on.
Slide to the left.
It's what your character does, just dance.
Yeah, I know. It's like literally just like it's like I'm used to this, having been grown up on ships and been on ships that are kind of rough. So I have my sea legs.
You're just ready for it.
Yeah.
The Deltan behind the ensign steps forward and taps her communicator. She says, "Bridge, is everything all right?" Over the communicator, you hear a smooth female voice say that, "Yes, Commander. It seemed that there was a gravity shear that was not accounted for on our approach. We've compensated, and there won't be any more issues."
Gotta account for those gravity shears.
Is that what your character says? Gotta account for that. Is your character doing anything or not really, Lore Runner?
I mean, I could be boring in character for you if you'd like. I do believe that, given the current circumstances, it would be incumbent upon us to make sure we take extra care to make sure the ship's stabilizers are working. Would you like me to work on
Oh
that?
my god! Literally, that's what my character says in character.
So
I
while
was
you
not aware of the Andorians' religious beliefs with regards to this particular circumstance. If you'd like to elucidate upon it to me later, I would be very happy to listen to your particular rigorous understandings of your erudite culture.
As long as it's over the double wheel, that's all I care about.
Of course, I am very fascinated by this Latinium that you keep speaking of.
Latinium. Y'all are stupid. All right. So
I look,
while
I look over at the Delton and say, "You're welcome to join as well." By the way,
so while
sorry,
you,
I gotta do this.
while you guys are doing that, the Delton's still talking on the Alma is still talking on her comm badge. In the background from the comm badge, you hear a male voice yell, "Hey, did you tell them that Jones almost got all of us killed?" In the middle of him saying that, the smooth voice comes back and says, "That'll be all, Lieutenant. Sorry, Commander, you won't have any other issues." With that, the Delton taps her comm badge and looks back to the ensign a moment, who is just completely shooken. So the Delton herself steps forward and she says, "We're dealing with an industrialized civilization that has quantum computers and seems to lack a basic understanding of such technology. To survive, they utilize massive reactors that warm small areas. Their main reactor in their capital city is failing. If it goes out, tens of thousands, including children, will die. We have put together two teams. I'll be taking Team Alpha to try and determine how this technology came to be under control of a civilization that clearly didn't create it. And the second team will be in 1 second, because I got this at the last minute and not calling any names. Oh yeah.
This is an exceptionally long pause, I must say.
Yeah.
Vincent, are
like,
you all
wait a
right? Do you need...
She just goes, yeah, she's talking, she just goes blank and her eyes go. Her eyes go. There's nothing.
Do you require assistance? Is there something? Call the doctor. Call the ship's doctor immediately.
She's definitely gonna require assistance after talking to you. Again, in character.
She says the second team will be commanded by Ensign Shran as well as Masterson, who will be assisting in repair as well as attempting to understand, utilizing the science crews, what's going on with the planet itself. She gives a brief pause and looks out and says, "Questions?"
Yes. Is one of us more in command than the other one?
I do not see why that is particularly relevant.
It's incredibly relevant. I think it needs to be asked if there happens to be a situation where, anyone has any questions or needs to defer to people. I just want to know that they be deferring to a certain person.
I think I would easily defer to you, madame. I'm sure you have more experience than I, and certainly seem to know your way around this ship better. Therefore, I have no problem following your orders.
Instant Masterson will be in command.
Come on.
She dips her head and says, "Okay, then. We'll be taking various shuttles." She hands out the shuttles. It seems like there's going to be at least 3 teams that'll be going with you guys. As she's handing them out, she stops in front of both of you and says, "All right, so Ensign Masterson, you're in charge on this one. You'll be supported by Ensign Shran. Conditions make transporters unadvisable. Each shuttle will be taking pattern enhancers should you need them." She pauses a moment and then looks between you. Are there any other relevant questions?
I assume we have full leave to take a full equipment setup down with us.
She nods her head. She says, "As long as it's relevant to the mission, you can take what you need."
And then the question I was going to ask is, are there any local authority figures that we will be in contact with during this?
She looks over and smiles a moment and takes another pat, handing it to you. "In fact, you'll be working with Alexia. Apparently, he is a teenager and yet is somehow in charge of their entire engineering department, if that's what you want to call it. He'll be helping you and assisting in getting the reactor up and running."
As long as he's not insufferable.
I'm sure that he's not written that way at all. I'm sure you're correct.
I have a bad feeling about this, Ensign. Perhaps we should take off phasers just in case.
Oh, I always have a phaser.
Excellent. It is good to be prepared. I'm ready. If everyone else is ready.
Even when sleeping.
Especially
Under the pillow, you know.
Yeah.
Do either of you guys have a good piloting skill or not really?
My con is 4.
My con is 1, so no.
I suppose I will pilot the shuttle down.
What's your control?
My control is 10.
Mine is 11. Okay, well that's not bad. I mean, you can either do that, or if you want, you can command one of the others, an NPC, to do it.
Oh yes, I like that. I like the commanding bit. You, over there. I pointed some random ensign.
That would be Ensign Monsoon, I believe.
Betazoid is surprised. She's in a yellow outfit. She's like, "Yes, sir." Ensign Monsoon.
Do you know how to pilot a shuttle?
Since I was a child.
All right, well, get on in there. This is your lucky day.
I'm sorry. What were you doing to pilot shuttles when you were a child?
My mom and dad were traitors. They would let me pilot. Well,
they were traitors to the Federation. I draw my phaser.
No. Traitors. Calm down. It's okay.
Trade? What is that? Yeah, I'm with Starfleet, and we seek to better ourselves.
Starfleet never had cargo ships, and TNG and DS9 ever.
There's no economy in the future. Just trust us. Trust us, please.
The main titular
character. Can you? Sorry, I think. Can you get that silver spoon out of your mouth?
Yeah, sure. Hang on. There we go. Sorry about that.
The main titular character didn't even marry a traitor captain at all, and well, she's traitor in both words, in both senses. All right,
that's true.
All right, are you guys doing anything else before you make your way out? What are these What other equipment were you planning on taking?
So I want like a heavy insulated gear, and I would like, if the GM will permit it, I would like at least one actual spacesuit in case things get mega bad. And I know what you're thinking. What do you mean spacesuit? You remember the planet, the Hell planet they go to in Voyager, and they go down and they have those encased suits to help them survive on the surface, something like that.
Also in First Contact. Yeah.
Also in First Contact, you're right. But yeah, the extreme environment suit, basically.
You can take 2, but it'll cost you a momentum.
What do you think, my dear Shran?
I'm in for it as long as I can get mine to look like the ones from Enterprise. It's just as an aesthetic choice.
Because this is Star Trek Online. That's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. Anachronistic crap all over the place.
I don't see the... Okay, so, then we'll burn a momentum. Where did our momentum go? We had 2.
Yeah, they're right there on the... Yeah, where did they go? They were right
How
there.
do you click on something again? What do you do? To point it out?
Oh, God, I rebound it. I think it's G? Is by default? No, that doesn't sound right. I rebound it, so I don't know what it is.
I just did it then. I don't know what I did, but...
There it is. I see it. Why are they where? This is a terrible spot. They're hard. Okay, look. You got to think yellow, yellow on yellow and pink. This is awful. We need it visible over here. Bam. Momentum.
Or like on this table over here.
Where? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Better idea. Table. So here we go. Momentum, nice and obvious. We'll even rotate them. So yes, burn momentum.
Right.
We have the suits. We have the Arctic gear. We have coats. Obviously, phasers, more for utility than for defense, but still.
Sure.
And we got the pattern enhancers, we've got the tricorders, and I actually had something else in mind. I can't remember right now. I'm really tired. Can you think of anything, Jesse?
I'm trying to think of anything, but no, I think we're good.
Viewers at home, donate $3 right now to suggest other things we could take with us.
As soon as you remember, it's going to be too late, and all of a sudden... You're gonna be.
I'll get down there. Oh damn! No, yeah. Actually, you know what? No. Oh god, I can't think of what it's called. It's a communication booster. It's a signal booster. To make sure that we don't lose contact with the ship.
Did they have those in Star Trek? I've never.
Actually, they did. That came up several times in TNG when they go down to a hostile planet on a shuttle, and they're like, "We just need to get this working." And it was always broken, of course, but that did happen several
I
times.
thought that was pattern enhancers for transport.
No. Pattern enhancers didn't actually come in until the episode when they were possessed by ghosts. This was the first episode with those. And that was like season 5.
Speaking of ghosts, can I bring my my sex candle?
Yes.
I bring it with me everywhere.
Take it everywhere I go.
And if you're wondering how she gets it into the uniform, don't think about it.
Oh yeah, you don't want to know, especially how I keep it lit.
It's one of 3 spots, and you'll never guess the third. So are we continuing on, or?
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
As long as I get my single booster.
I do specifically request that the Delton be on our team.
Okay. So the executive officer looks at you and she pauses a moment and says, "I've actually taken a vow of celibacy and can never be with anyone. I'm also running the first team, as I specifically said in that entire meeting that took."
Oh yes, that's correct. Sorry, I confused the ensign and the officer. Also, why did you bring up that you were celibate? Why is that relevant to anything that I've said?
It's okay. I am not sexually attracted to you in any way.
I do not concur.
I don't agree with what he just said.
What? You think I am? I knew it. Draw my phaser.
She shakes her
I'm
head.
shooting a lot of
Delton
people.
shakes
Yeah,
her head.
like your instant reaction is draw the phaser. Damn.
The Delton shakes her head and mumbles something about new trainees and ensigns getting out too early and walks off as you guys make your way
Did you
into
say
the
something
shuttle.
about Andorians in there? I think I heard her say something about Andorians.
Needing that sweet Andorian love. All right, so the
Cool. Yeah, I think we're good.
the ensign gets in there and begins tapping away. It's you and about 4 others. Again, there's going to be about 3 shuttles in total. As the shuttle makes its way out, again, you feel a little bit of shear until they adjust for the extra gravity they weren't expecting, and make your way towards the planet. A complete snow bowl of white. There's no green that can actually be seen. As you get closer and begin zooming over continents, you notice that there are large swaths of ice that appear somewhat bluer or off-white. It takes a few moments to realize, but these faint bluer pieces were once the oceans that existed. The planet has become so cold that the oceans themselves have froze, at least the surface of them. Finally, the shuttle comes over a few mountains. A massive cylindrical structure comes into view. The massive structure goes into the clouds and has to be miles upon miles long or wide. Pure molten red can be seen from the epicenter or the middle of it, the heat being seen going into the stratosphere. It is creating a massive amount of heat. Surrounding it is a city of wood, metal, and technology. It surrounds the structure for miles. The snow that looked like it was everywhere literally seems to retreat from the city in fear of the massive machine and the surrounding buildings. Speaking of the buildings, they're a mix of Victorian-style architecture along with a dystopian technological overtone. After a few minutes, your shuttle finally lands on a metal wooden pad that is at least 30 stories from the ground. These pads surround the actual structure itself, and the other shuttles are landing on those specific pads. As you land, the ensign continues.
Hold up.
Okay.
Nope. Hang on. Do me a favor, Ensign. Give us a once through. And I'm gonna hit the sensors. And do we have a science person on our team?
You do, yeah. You say she looks back at you once through, sir. You mean?
I want a once over. I want to get a good look at things, and I want to get some scanners on there before we start running into the problem which we don't even know what it is at the moment.
She nods her head. She says, "Of course, sir," and she begins flying around. You do have a science officer. There's in fact one right there with you. Do you want to roll?
Awesome, Ensign Mike. Could you do me a favor, please, and
yes, sir.
give me some. Okay, first, drop the accent, or I'll kill you. Second of all, I drop my phaser. I stab him with my phaser. No.
You stab him, Jesus.
It's just really harsh, just straight down.
I don't understand. You humans all sound the same to me.
That's fair. We do.
Must have been born in the South, sir.
It's just, so I turned him. I said, "All right, let's hear what I'm gonna want from you. All
Now,
right, I'm gonna need you to go down there and hit the thing with the scanner. All right, get you that okay?"
you mean Los Angeles?
They took a job, sir. All right, what are we doing?
Scan. Give me a scan, dude.
Yes, sir.
I want to see what we're looking. Okay, specifically.
Do the one thing that you're able
do
to
your
do.
job, ensign, or I'll have you busted back to the academy, back to the you can say toast flakes.
Dang, power went to this guy's head real quick.
I'm in charge of this mission, and together we will indulge us clean likely.
I think he
I
became
like
the devil.
I like this new you. This brings out a good side of you.
All right, so you want me to scan? You want me to scan? See what? Do you want me to scan the planet, sir, or just overall the
Just this city.
structure?
Just this city. I mean, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, what I'd want is like 50 scans of the city, but I don't want to bore my GM, so.
Plus, they
Is
probably
it
wouldn't have
possible to
enough
scan for attractiveness?
Yes.
money. It
Is that an option?
It was invented in 2238.
Got it.
That's
Sorry,
just
all my characters end up just being horny. My apologies. I've been quarantined for too long.
dude. You and me both. You and me both.
I believe they call that the T'Pol factor.
That's a fact.
I mean, it is like I said, it is in keeping with all of Trek.
Yep.
All right.
Can I actually be wearing a skin tight cat suit? Can I make that
No.
my uniform?
cannot? No.
As your superior officer. No. What happens is you show up in that, and I just look at you and I just glare, right?
Do you guys
And then
want to
you're
roll
like-
the shuttle, or shall I roll the shuttle?
I'll roll it. Or she'll roll it.
No, you can roll it. You're good.
Well, I had dice and someone stole them from me, so I'm going to take more dice. Here we go. Boop. An 8 and a 13. I'm not sure where we're at on that, but
That's 3 successes. So he begins scanning, going through it, and looks somewhat confused as he begins telling you about it. It appears that the structure itself is made of multiple different components. It doesn't seem like it was made of one. It looks like it's a slipshod of different cultures or different technologies that were just slammed together. There are certain parts of it that have some type of metal alloy that we can't even scan through. He pauses a moment and continues through. I do see where the problem may be. It looks like the actual power source itself is having some issues going through what I'm assuming are their form of EPS conduits. After a moment, there is a brief pause, and he says, "Sir, I'm also detecting at least 250 miles below what may be a city."
I'm sorry, speak more clearly. Is it 250 miles below the city, or is there a city 250 miles below the surface?
250 miles below the surface.
Like through the shaft, like of this technology.
He shakes his head. He says, I can't be sure. The scans are somewhat dicey, but I do know that there's something down there. I can see what appears to be structures. I can't pick up any life signs, though that doesn't mean they're not down there.
I pull up my briefing pad because those exist. And I check it to see if basically the idea here is are we as a ship aware of anything that might even support this? Like, is this part of the standard? By the way, we have underground cities, kind of a thing. I'm assuming not. You could just answer me as the GM if you'd prefer.
So you're looking to see if it's just known about this planet?
Yeah, if this is just a normal thing that these people have underground cities.
This is a completely you're in the Expanse. You have no idea about this civilization, so you wouldn't have any.
I'm sorry, I'm not being clear. When they reached out to us for help,
Oh, okay.
the information, the diplomatic packet that came along with, did it mention anything about or did the people mention anything about underground? So the answer is no. Got it. Everyone, and I turn around, and this is with genuine sincerity. Everyone, I want you to remain armed at all times while we're on the surface. Oh, and I want you, everyone, to maintain constant comm or visual communication with everyone, except if you see something unusual, in which case you need to immediately turn off your comm unit and stop talking to people and just run off and see what it is by yourself blindly. Understood?
Especially if you're wearing a red shirt.
Especially you, Ensign McDudd over there.
Policy 15. Yes, sir. I understand.
Excellent. Okay, half of that I do actually say. I want us to be armed, and I want us to be alert.
The engineer continues. She looks up and says, "Sir, we're being held. They're wondering why we haven't landed yet."
Tell them we are waiting for landing clearance, as well as proper protocols and formation.
She smirks and looks back and says, "Yes, sir. We're being cleared to land, so I'll bring us about." The shuttle
Excellent.
The shuttle smoothly comes about and lands on the wooden pad. As you look out, you can see what appears to be a few people in, we'll say, peasant clothing, like really thin layers of brown and beige, slowly making their way out.
Oh, the plebeians.
I turn to Ensign Shran. I believe that diplomacy and interspecies relations. I think I saw that on your thing. I can't think of the name of. No, I was gonna say your resume, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Your CV,
oh yeah.
Your CV says.
I gotta update that thing. Yeah.
I was trying to make a damn joke and I failed at it. Anyway, so if you would like to go ahead and make the first initial overtures, you are more than welcome to.
For sure. I walk up to them and say, "Hello, Shaka, when the walls fell."
They immediately stab you with their phasers.
They're like, Tanagra.
No, I go up to them as what was the name of the Wesley Crusher guy that we're gonna be talking to?
Alexia. Right before
Alexia.
that, just so you know, what are you guys dressed in as you're making your way out?
Warm clothing, as previously indicated. We're not in the suits, although maybe we should be.
You come out in those space suits.
Kakunk, Kakunk, we are here to speak to your leaders.
Just straight up like Back to the Futuring it.
Yeah. I am Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan.
So as you make your way out, the one thing you do notice is it is, in fact, extremely hot. You're looking about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So
I'm as can an Andorian or Andorians aren't comfortable in that heat.
No, they love cold.
Yeah, as I say, that's not going to be. I'm going to be like sweating bullets, like trying to negotiate here.
I have picked the right woman for the job.
Shran walks out and she feels the heat. She's like, "Fuck this," and then walks back in.
And I just turn and look and be like, "Hi, yes."
I'm out.
You look on your pad and it says, "Good luck, pale skin," and the door closes.
No, I do go up and I ask, it's like, does anyone mind if I get naked? It's a bit.
I don't believe that would be appropriate for current Starfleet protocols. Section 34, paragraph 5, area C. No, it's known as the Ensign Kim clause, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was the Paris clause.
As you make your way out and towards the entourage,
The Kirk referendum.
the young man makes his way towards you. The one thing to know about him, or a few things, is he is pale and thin. His right eye is actually replaced with a red cybernetic enhancement that has wiring ingrained into the skin itself, running down.
Borg, shoot it!
Running down and up. You yell, "Borg! We got Borg here, boys!" His skin running up and down his face and onto his neck and under his clothing. His clothing, again, as I stated, almost seems medieval. As we were talking about, the air is quite warm. He pauses a moment. And he says, "You're the travelers here to help. If you want to get naked and that's customary, I don't suppose I have an issue, though."
Do not worry. It is not. I talk over him. It is not customary for our people to be so promiscuous on first contact. My name is Ensign Masterson. Might I have your names?
He nods his head. He says, "I'm Alexia, and this is Robert and Georgine." He pauses a moment. He says, if you have time, we were worried we wouldn't be able to survive, and now that you're here, we have a chance. We've actually created a banquet for you and all of your crew if you'd like to celebrate your arrival."
Ensign Strong, I believe that's your department.
Yes, I would say we would certainly love to partake in your in your feast, but we also want to make sure that we get started on your problem as soon as possible. If we may try and talk about the situation over the meal.
He nods his head and he says, "Certainly, certainly." As you accept, the boy does seem to perk up, his cybernetic eye flashing a bright red, and he nods his head. "Yes, yes, this way. We have wildebeests and arachnid stew, along with voyeur eyes. You will absolutely love what we have to offer you." Any motions?
Absolutely sounds delicious. Also, I want a quick check. Is he the only one that has the cybernetic implants, or do I notice that others seem to have them as well?
Everyone there has some form of cybernetic enhancement or change that you can see.
Okay. Then, or I'm assuming we're gonna start walking towards the banquet.
So what he does, he motions for you guys to follow. I'm assuming that you do. The scientists and engineers that are with you pause a moment, seem somewhat confused, but begin to follow. Though Ensign random name that I made up and forgot now reaches over to touch you, Lore Runner, and she says, "Sir, do you want us to follow, or should we get to work?"
Ensign Monsoon, actually, was that one.
Thank you.
Ensign Monsoon, and I hesitate. How many do we have with us total?
With you right there, you have about 5 people, and then you have 3 different shuttles, so in total, about 15 to 20.
All 3 shuttles are Team 1, or excuse me, Team 2?
Correct.
We could we could send. Well, we could probably have them all if we get permission from the people to have them start scanning the. What?
I'm laughing because what I want to do is split the party.
Oh God, yeah.
So,
I mean, I would say we could send half of them down to start scanning and setting up equipment near the tower thing.
I actually agree, and I think you, Ensign Strond, would be perfect for going to this feast and establishing relations with these fine people.
Sounds great. I'm in.
And
I like food.
I'll be the boring workaholic, and I will go down with the rest of my people. So this is actually funny. So just to be clear, other lore, I am not joking about these security protocols. I do want us to be either in visual range of another person at all times, and within communication of other cells at all times. Yeah. This is being treated as a high danger situation. Okay.
Sure. Okay. I assumed you were. I wasn't. I took that.
Just want to be 100% clear. I'm not going full tilt. I wish I could.
And I basically say we should make sure to check in every 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes or so.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely.
So, Jesse, I want you to roll the yellow dice that I just marked, and then Runner, I want you to use the red one, and both of you roll those.
Both of us roll.
All right, here it comes. The biggest roll in the known history of the universe.
And low rolls are good.
It's a 4. Yes.
Oh, huh.
Well, not in this instance. It didn't really matter because it wasn't about that. But
yeah, just to make sure it's really visible. There.
Wait, how the hell did you do that? What the?
You right-click and scale is one of the options.
Oh, that's fun.
Or you could just. Okay.
I already rolled. 4 was the roll I did before I played around. This is how you can tell I'm a professional GM. Is that I'll do what I have to do and then I'll screw around.
Is that what you were doing when you were doing that fancy voice and talking about, I don't know, squad daddies?
I don't know. We're talking about the fast forward. Need to go down there and get the scams going on.
Do you happen to? I turn to the cybernetic guy and say, like, do you happen to have squad daddies about?
Well, we have this popular media program which we all really, really enjoy after hours.
So, you guys are going to split up. How do you approach? How do you approach? You tell the guy. Do you stop him? What do you do when it comes to that?
So honestly, what I was hoping is that Ensign Shran there, Jesse, would just go with some of the group, and I just kind of start sending like basically half of each shuttle as it lands after her, and keep the other half with me. And as soon as basically as soon as all 3 have landed, I go. Oh my God, that's a large dice. Yeah. Go ahead and head off towards the problem, and while the rest of them are going off with her.
I'll take mostly security personnel and then a couple science people, mostly just so like the more top science people, just because we'll probably be able to get more of an overview of information while the other people do the sort of grunt setting up and getting scans.
Gotcha. All right, so we're going to do you first, Runner. So everything goes smoothly in that regard. Jesse and Co are. No, you know what? We're going to reverse that. We're going to make it fun. So while you're doing that, Runner, we're going to do Jesse first. So Jesse, you're carted away towards a shaft that has a something that'll carry you through that shaft. You're taken further into the complex. It's only a few minutes before it actually stops, and you find yourself next to a door that opens, and you see a grand ballroom. You have dark brown woods and chandeliers that are suspended by grav technology, though the actual chandelier itself is made out of complete bone. As you walk in, the boy raises his hand and questionable foods of all kinds are brought before you. There's at least 3 large tables that are.
I'm sorry. Did you say questionable foods?
Yeah, I was just to say, can I scan the food to make sure it's edible?
Well, yeah, in a second. But when I say questionable, arachnids stew the eyes of different beasts, things like that. Things that aren't generally
Temple of Doom type stuff.
Temple of Doom, yeah, exactly. Klingon's Delight is what they also call it. There are 3 long tables that are made ornately, some of them with bone, some wood, some metal. It looks like a twisted version of a grand ballroom. It takes about 5-10 minutes, but there's at least a good 30 people on top of those that you brought that are there with you. Everyone is given a seat and made to sit down. You're sitting next to the teenager himself. He stands and he raises his hands and says, "Let us pray to the giver of heat for our salvation that has been brought before you." He closes his eyes, as does everyone that is not a Starfleet officer. His cybernetic eye goes out in black, and all of the other equipment on the others does as well. It's just as if they all just died for a second. After a few moments, you hear a high-pitched computer noise that it almost sounds like a modem that's going back and forth. And so that's happening for about 30 seconds. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. So you guys are sitting there and that's happening. Do you want to do anything or just let that go through?
Did I lose you? Still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha. Cool.
Okay, so I said that's going to go on for a good 30 seconds. Are you doing anything while that's happening, or are you just going to let them...
I quick nod to the ensign, or whisper to one of the ensigns nearby, but once quick do a scan of the food to make sure it's edible.
Ensign nods his head. He's actually in a red uniform. He's like, "Yes, sir." And he tries to pull out his tricorder as low key.
And also get a scan of that recording of that sound as well. Sorry.
And then you still have the sound too.
Yeah, the food and the sound. Basically, scan both of them.
All right. He scans. He has it under the table. He's looking at it. He says, "So technically, the food is edible. It won't technically kill us. I can't."
Oh, I love food that doesn't technically kill me.
He says, "Yeah, me as well. This is going to be a delightful first contact." He says, "I can't really get a fix on this. It seems like old Earth transmissions from technologies that are outdated."
V'ger.
I think it's pronounced vagina. Excuse me.
Sorry.
In Latin, it's vajayjay, to be fair. So
yeah, gotcha. As long as we can penetrate its orifice, that's all I really care about.
So anyway, after about 30 seconds, they get done, and everyone sits down and begins eating. The teenager motions. He's like, please, have as much as you want.
Sorry.
Yeah, I start eating slowly, cautiously, but politely. And I turn to Alexi and ask basically, so what seems to be the problem that you are dealing with? If you could describe it in your own words.
So he he's eating, and like a common teenager, he's just shoving stuff down his throat. And he's like, "Well, it's a worst thing." So, we're sitting there and we are just trying to survive. And of course, the city's being heated, and all the technology seems to work. And then for whatever reason, it just suddenly starts failing. Multiple cities across the entire continent have started going down with thousands of deaths. Our best technicians and engineers have been on it, but this technology was given by the Heat Giver and created by the ancients. So we don't completely know what we're talking about or what we're working with.
So how long have you had this technology, and who do you mean by the heat givers? Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
The technology's always been there. It was created by the Heat Giver. The Heat Giver, the one who created everything, who ensures that we all stay alive. Obviously, he would have taken care of you as well.
Well, my culture certainly worships different different gods, but I certainly respect and understand your love of your god and bringer of heat.
The god goes by different names. He starts drinking something. You know how it is. He goes by different names, but it's always the same person. We all believe in the one true God, the Heat Giver. But yeah, the technology it's always existed. As the Heat Giver will sometimes bring us different things, and we use it. We just attach it, and the technology it just absorbs it. So as the Heat Giver gives us various things from the great beyond, we're able just to continue.
What do you mean by the great beyond? Where do these things come from?
Well, you came from it. Like the Heat Giver brought you the great beyond. He motions up towards the sky, and what'll happen is we take it and we take it to our control room and we just stick it in and it absorbs it and starts using it. He pauses a moment. The trouble did start happening when we put the latest gadget in there. The latest technology. Now that I think of it, that's a good point. We should probably look into that.
That is an excellent point. I'll have to. Do you know where I can find that? Can I allow my colleague to access it while we continue eating?
Oh, it's in the control room. He's actually going to be there. You can't miss it. It gives off this like weird green glow. And
jump cut to me.
Yeah.
Jump cut to you. We are the Borg. Your individual. Yeah. Just looking up.
I was about to ask. So I noticed all of you have cybernetic or implants on your faces. If you don't mind me asking, where did those come from?
Again, it was a gift from the great beyond. A different vessel crash landed. Well, I don't know. I guess it was a boat or something. It crash landed, and we slowly, and this was before I was born, of course, we slowly began to add it to this, and it actually cures all disease. At the time, we were having a lot of issues with people dying from the cold and from just malnourishment, and so now the different parts of the boat we put in there. When someone's pregnant, we take them in there and leave them for about 4 hours, and the baby comes out with all this technology, and there is no want or death or pain, except for the cold.
Yes, well. Well, no, I won't mention that. Never mind. Probably be a bad idea to be like, I like the cold. But,
would you like to join us in the cold? That's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any question? Anything else?
I was going to ask when you stop to pray to your to the fire, the heat bringer. There was a strange noise. Do you happen? And you all seem to go quiet for a little while there. Is there anything in particular that happens during that we might not have seen?
As you ask him that question, he pauses a moment and his eye flashes green and he cocks his head to the right for a second. And for just like less than 2 seconds, everyone who is from the city, not the Starfleet officers, just stop and just go silent and just stare forward for less than 2 seconds. And then he shakes his head and he says, "I'm sorry, were you saying something?"
Were you?
That's what you
yeah, it's like, this seems great. Do you happen to have a sort of hive mind, a collective, if you will, that you talk to each other through?
No, you know. Give me a second. That's what he says. Is again just like Omla, his eyes go blank, and he just stares off into the future. Give me a moment.
Into the future. Oh, okay.
That's what he's looking at. Yeah, give me a second. Where the hell is? Oh,
His
he
thoughts
says,
just keep on slipping.
he says, no, we are the metanoians. We are connected through thoughts, but our biological essences are the same. They are distinct.
Yes, and you don't have any desire to add any more distinctiveness to your own, if you will.
Do you actually say that to him?
Sure.
Roll for tact.
Why not?
Do you say that to him? Because that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Okay. I'm gonna say, well, let's continue eating, but do you mind if I quick check in with my colleague for a moment while the rest of my officers continue enjoying your wonderful meal?
He shakes his head. He says, unfortunately, that won't be possible. Once you get into the...
I love it.
Once you get into the core, the heat bringers won't allow it.
Okay. Well, then I turn to a security officer and a science officer next to me, and just say, I'm going to quick send them with some information to my colleague, just so we can make sure to stay in touch. And I turn to them and say to the security officer, both of you, I want you to go down to Ensign Boring Man, and basically, I want one of you to stay within range of communication with me, along with someone else, and then be able to stay in contact with someone who's inside the zone, so we can sort of still have communication between ourselves, sort of like ad hoc, that sort of way, and let Ensign Marcus know everything that we've learned here, and to make sure to stay on his toes for any, let's just say, familiar species or familiar, you know what I'm trying to say.
Also, tell me
it's a green alert. Okay, let's just let's just make sure that we all are all aware that resistance is certainly not futile.
Also tell him Unray Alnay if
yeah.
As you're talking to them,
that's what I'm gonna do.
As you're talking to them, all of a sudden you hear a loud humming, and then it goes absolutely silent. And almost immediately, you can see you can actually start to see your breath, and there's condensation that goes on everything, on your clothes and on the actual dishes and stuff. And Alexia looks up and he looks panicked and he says, "Oh no, it's the reactor's gone dead." And now we're gonna cut to Lore Runner.
What'd you do, Lore?
So listen, in my defense, he said something mean about my face.
All right, so we're going to go back a little bit, though, before that happens. So, Lore, you get your team together. You're actually... it's you and about, as I said, about 5, 10, 15 others. And, 5, 10 others. And the man that actually goes with you, he actually seems somewhat disappointed. He's like, "Oh, are you sure you wouldn't like to be a part of the festivities? We put a lot of effort into it."
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure that those who are attending it will be very grateful for your efforts and for your work. However, we really do need to get to work as soon as absolutely possible. After all, you don't want to be left out in the cold, do you?
He nods his head. He says, "Yes, if the Heatbringer should decide to remove his hand from us, we would all certainly die." And he motions
Just to be clear, this is a walking conversation. I'm not standing. Sure. I'm going. He has to keep up with me.
He's walking with you. He actually takes you towards a rickety shaft with a rickety thing inside of it. And he motions you like, if you all come with me, and gets in and waits for you to come.
How many people does this rickety old elevator look like it can support at a given point in time?
I mean, it can fit all of you.
That's not what I asked.
I mean,
all right, we all clown car our way in. It'll be fine, guys.
He reaches.
I enjoy plummeting to my death.
He reaches over and begins tapping. Give me an insight plus security.
So that's gonna be 1 success and 1 failure.
All right, not a critical failure though, right?
Nope. And
it's so weird. It didn't have a critical failure. When he's tapping on it, you could swear that you saw something that almost looked like a Dominion symbol. You don't know much about the Dominion. This is before the war and such, but you're of course being briefed on it, even though they're like 6 months out. He starts tapping. It could have been your imagination, but it almost looked like it was a Dominion symbol. Before you can really respond to that, he hits a button, and all of a sudden the shaft itself just begins dropping, going down at an accelerated rate. Even though it is going down, your feet are firmly planted, and when you look out, you can tell that this is probably not as fast as this thing should be going, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's just a regular elevator as you're going down. And some of the engineers are a little perturbed by that, freaking out, but the man seems
so I just want to point out one of my focuses is composure in a crisis. So I'm just standing there, hands behind my back.
It's like, if I die, at least I won't feel it. It's like, I don't know.
Yep. Nope. It'll be quick. I'm ready. Take me.
Take me, God. Take me now. Take me, Heatbringer.
Yeah, I was going to say it. I should also probably, this is a good time to mention this. One of my focuses is Starfleet history. I'm curious. Do any of these people and their cybernetics remind me of anything Starfleet historically speaking?
Maybe. Give me I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do. We'll do it this way. Give me an insight plus.
Insight.
I'm gonna give you a third die on this. Give me an insight plus. Now I remember why I hate this system. We'll go security. Insight plus security again. You get an extra die.
Well, thankfully I did raise both of those. Whee! Wow. That's just garbage. So that's 1 success and 2 failures. No crits either way.
Binar. Reminds you of the Binar. I think that's what their name was.
From 1100.
Yeah.
There
could be other stuff too. You're not
I
sure.
mean, I don't remember anything from like the Kirk era or anything.
No. I mean, it looks similar to other stuff that you may or may not have seen, but you just can't play.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn to the gentleman who's taking. While we're on the trip down, I was like, "Do you mind if I do a routine scan just for records?"
He pauses a moment. He says, "Scan."
Of course. So I'm just going to assume that's a yes and automatically pull out. Do I have any medical personnel with me? I probably don't.
No, you had scientists with you. He looks at the tricorder that you pull out. He says, "That's an interesting object. Would we be able to have one of those?"
Did you not hear my question?
You said, "Are there any medical officers with you?" I said, "No."
Okay, so Discord has a thing. I'm going to let you know about this, where you have to leave it open if you're manually doing it, or you have to kind of give it a second because it'll cut you off. So if you say like yes, it won't go through at all on our end, and we won't hear that.
Sorry.
So just for future reference. Anyways, yes, I have a medical person. I would like this person that's giving us down medically scanned. I want to know what's ticking in there as best as we're able to tell.
Sure. I'm sorry. You don't have a medical person. You have scientists.
Right. I immediately grab my phaser and stab him with it.
You want to, I guess, roll a melee on that?
All right, here we go. So I rolled my medic. So, okay, fine. We don't have a medical tricorder and we don't have a medical thing. We're still going to scan this bastard. He's getting scanned. He gets no choice on the matter.
All right.
So I guess I'm not actually doing the scanning. So hang on, who's in chat right now? Who's in chat who hasn't already been an ensign? Ensign Rhodes, I'm afraid I'm going to need you to perform the scan, please, if you would, sir.
Ensign Rhodes takes it, and he says, "Yes, sir." Now, as he does that, the guy looks up. He's like, "Oh, that's a neat object. Would you mind us having one after you're done?"
I'm afraid that decision will be up to the senior command. There's certain protocols which must be, and I just kind of stonewall him a bit with protocol.
As the science officer,
He slowly falls asleep as you continue droning on.
Exactly. That's exactly. I'm doing a sleep attack here.
He falls out. He falls out of the thing.
All right, he's dead. Mission accomplished.
We did it. And everybody jumps up and high fives. As the science officer is scanning him, all of a sudden he drops it. He's like he screams out in pain, drops the tricorder, which falls to the ground and almost seems semi. It's not. It doesn't almost seem. It's halfway melted. He's looking at his hand, shaking it.
Oh, I wish we had a medical officer with us all of a sudden.
The man looks at it and looks up at him. He's like, "Oh yeah, that does happen. You first have to let the heat god see it." And as he says that, it stops, and he turns around and goes to hit a few buttons. And do you want to give me another insight plus security?
Yeah. I'm glad I raised both of those skills. Jesus Christ. Because I'm rolling crap. That's one success, one failure.
You think you see, as he's tapping it in, you actually think you see an Andorian symbol.
Okay. Do I have a knife on me?
You've
been stabbing people with your phaser pretty well enough.
You can spend a
oh, that's actually an interesting idea.
You can spend a momentum to have it.
What do you think, Jesse?
I'm fine with it if you feel like it's absolutely needed.
Okay, I'll go ahead and talk my thought process out loud here. Honestly, I shouldn't, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's kind of a meta thing. But in the moment, my character's thinking, okay, so we need something that's not, high technology to be able to use in an emergency situation here, right?
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's okay, though. I can actually bludgeon someone with a phaser. That's a real thing.
There you go. So as the door opens, the interior of it is shrouded in black and shadow. Dark metals are across the room with low green light that pulses from. It's indirect. You can't actually see the light source.
Do my Borg senses go off? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's like green light's always great in Star Trek.
It does have a Borg feel to it. I'll give you that.
So I immediately flip the hell out.
Okay.
But then I remember I have composure in a crisis. It's Borg or Romulan, so one way or another, this is bad. I actually, legit, I do order all my people to draw their weapons at this point.
The man turns around and looks confused and raises his hand. He says, "What have I done?"
No, not at you. we're not. I'm not setting up a fire.
His answer like putting the phaser in his face. No, this is not for you.
This isn't for you. Don't worry. It's all shh. It's okay. No more pain.
They all sleep.
Oh my God, no. I just want people to have their weapons at the ready. Now, what I say to him is, "Oh, don't worry. These aren't weapons." And what do I need to roll to lie to him?
That is an interesting. Are you going to try to lie on what it is, or are you just like, "Nah, don't worry, they're not weapons"? Are you going to try to give them some kind of
Let's go with just the blanket lie for now.
Okay, the blanket lie.
Don't worry about it.
Presence plus command is what we'll do.
Two things I have actually raised. All right, so one success, one critical success, which I believe means we get a momentum. Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Whoop. There we go.
He nods his head and says, "Oh, okay. those are just weird objects. Again, hopefully we'll be able to give them to the Heatbringer, at least one of them. And he seems to seem more at ease. He seems fine. And he says, don't worry. No one has ever been harmed in the control area. So you have my personal word that you won't be harmed here.
I don't have any worries about that, sir. Fear not. This is all complete lies. So we're going to be moving in actual military leap squatting a little bit, just to make sure nothing's going to jump at us around the corner. Because in all in total, this is not a joke, by the way. In character, my character is now assuming this is a trap, and is having enough of an idealism to think this might not be. That's the only reason we haven't fired on this guy yet. So we're leapfrogging, we're covering our corners, checking our sectors.
So it's actually just a long corridor. So he takes you down the corridor.
We check the sectors of the corridor as we go. And hang on. I've played D&D before, so hang on. Where's my dice? So we scan a 5-foot square, and then we scan a 5-foot square, and then we
keep doing it. It'll work out well for you. So it'll all work out in the end. The scanners all die.
Wait, the people or the equipment?
Yes.
Oh, God. I was scanning, too. Jesse, you're on your own on this adventure. Sorry. I got you for 20 minutes.
Well, yeah. Well, you had red shirt written all over you, so.
A funny story. The uniform I'm wearing was my DS9 one, so I am, in fact, wearing red right now.
That's funny. We'll actually have you guys on the next one, just if we had issues here. So, all right. So you guys are making your way forward. For those who are watching, you'll get to see them next week. It's just I had some issues getting the display to work. So it goes to another door. He taps in. You think you may actually see a Federation symbol, not Starfleet, just Federation, pop up as he opens. When the door opens, the first thing you probably see, which is something that is not surprising and yet is, the room itself is just a long corridor itself. On the left and right side, each have 3 Borg alcoves. These alcoves do appear to be active, but what one would say is odd about it is there isn't like a complete Borg inside of them. Each alcove only has the head of a Borg, and onto those heads are different tubules and wires that are running into and out of the Borg heads themselves. Each of them seem to be active and just mumbling. In the middle is what appears to be a 23rd century computer console that comes from a Constitution class vessel. On the very leftmost side, you see there appears to be what looks like another room. Door
I turn to the gentleman.
This looks fun.
You're gonna die, boy.
It's all gonna be fine. No, I'm gonna be fine. We're gonna get a scan. It's gonna be all right. The more gonna take us, it takes. No, okay. So, I turn to the gentleman. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What was your name again, sir?
He says Marcus.
Your name is Marcus.
Yes, sir.
Everyone's just getting confused.
Okay, so I
find that so funny.
I am going to Sir Marcus. Yes, I am terribly sorry. We were supposed to be doing an advanced scouting thing, but since our scanners do not actually work, we'll need to go get a couple of additional things. And of course, we need to link up with the rest of our team. Could you help us get operate the console so we could go back up?
He nods his head. He says, "Yes, of course I can."
Perfect. Thank you. I apologize again for the inconvenience. That's my fault. It's one of those days. You know what I mean? The heat giver, which I totally know about in character, is just he's been giving me one of those days.
He nods his head. And he says, "Of course." And as you begin walking out, all 3 heads say, "Error code. Error. Heat must be revitalized. Weapon armed." And then
the seeker has awoken.
as they speak that, after they do, you hear a large hum and a large sound. It's almost like you're on a ship, and then it goes quiet. And as it does, you start to see your breath come out in condensation. The NPC Marcus looks down at his clothes and looks up, and he says, oh God, the reactor, it's gone dead. We don't have long before everyone's going to be
We need to
killed."
get out of here. We need to get here. Go, quick, let's go.
He shakes his head. He says, "No, we have to reactivate the reactor, or tens of
Right,
thousands
right,
of
yes,
people will
go.
die."
Reactivate the reactor. Go. Charge, man. We'll get help.
It's like, "We'll get help. Come with us. Let's go get help." Is that what you say? Let's go get help.
We can't go get help if you don't operate the lift to help us up, unless you want to show me how to operate it. Really quick.
He says,
we got seconds.
"But aren't you supposed to? Aren't you
This is
supposed
an emergency
to be the
situation.
Aren't you
We have
supposed
to
be the
go
one-
right now.
We
And I'm
have
just
to
like
fix it."
completely trying to sandblast him. And in fact, I'd like to roll for this because I've got that thing going.
As
for
you
me.
two are,
Let's see
as you two
here.
are going back and forth, he does seem to be getting more hyped up. It's like you're yelling at him. It's like, I mean, just imagine it. He's like, you're like, "We have to get on the lift and leave," and he's like, "We have to fix it." And you're just screaming it.
Yes, exactly. You don't understand. It needs to be fixed right now. And I actually say that to him, word for word. You don't understand, man. We have to fix this immediately.
All right, you want to do a presence plus command?
Okay, so presence plus command. 2 successes.
Okay, he's like, "I don't understand, but fine. We'll get on. We'll get on the lift."
You don't need to understand, only obey.
All right, so he takes you to the lift, and he
All right, so we get
Some
the
would say resistance is futile.
resistance is wackio. Let's go.
as you get onto the lift, you can see down, and you can already, even though you're so far up, you can hear what seems to be screams in the distance. The snow that was just retreating and scared slowly begins to come back, and you can even see it slowly start to retake the city. I mean, you can see it in real time. It's moving forward with different buildings and technology just starting to ice over, and you see people rushing towards the reactor. He hits the button. He says, "Man, I hope you're going to be able to fix it while we're not even at the reactor control room itself." And it suddenly zooms back, and he says, "Are we going back to your
We need to get back to our vessels as quickly as we possibly can. In fact, I'm going to grab Ensign Monsoon's comm, right? His chirp. God, I can't think of the name of the thing.
comm badge?"
Comm badge.
Yeah,
And
the chirpy
I
thing.
take the chirp off of his uniform, and I kind of put it on the wall,
Okay.
and then I tap it, and then I wait a second to see if it melts.
It doesn't. You just hear the chirp.
Okay, so I'm trying Ensign.
You're as everything's
All
happening.
hail the fire giver. What's up?
Oh God, you've been converted that quickly. Listen, we have a code green. I repeat, a code green. I'm sorry. Did we actually get in contact?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we have a code
I-
green. I repeat,
I was
a
about
code
to
green.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
We need
Yeah.
to resolve this immediately. Are you already at the ships?
I'm gonna be heading there right now.
Fantastic. I'll meet you there.
Sounds good.
As you as
I
you stop
retrieve
talking
the
to her,
communicator.
yeah. Your communicator actually beeps and says, "Commander Umbla to Ensign Masterson."
Okay, I know. I'd like to actually roll really quick here.
Okay.
So you can tell me whatever this is. I rolled pretty good. It's a 10 and a 5. So I succeed no matter what, as long as it assumes presence. But what I want to do is I want to communicate to the commander without saying, "Oh my God, there's frickin' bored down here." So I want my tone and my word choice to clearly convey. Okay.
Okay.
So she contacts me, Commander. Yes, we have encountered a bit of a code green, and we are currently in the process of reevaluating equipment necessity in order to resolve the situation as smoothly and quickly as possible.
There's a brief pause. She.
The fuck's a code green?
The fuck?
You
Get
cannot
back in
tell
that-
me. I know they
get the
never
fuck
say it in the show, ever. But you cannot tell me there's not a Borg code in Starfleet. You can't.
She.
It's usually Borg.
Have something for the Omega particle, they can have something for the Borg.
She pauses a moment and she says, we'll be on our way and meet you at your current landing pad. And then the comm goes dead. It zooms up. I assume you're on your way as well, Jesse?
Yes, I am.
No, she's eating, right?
She's
yeah, no, like I'm just
drunk.
like, mom.
You know these eyeballs after the.
I'm also singing like it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas because I'm just enjoying myself with the cold now.
Eating the eyeballs like they're popcorn, watching the people run for their lives.
No, but I'm also like just doing the TOS thing of like shooting rocks with my phaser as I go to keep people warm.
Does her phaser work?
I don't know. Did you actually try? Or were you joking about that, or were you actually trying to use
No, I'm actually trying to like do some semblance of like I'm here, I'm trying to make it back to I'm heading back to the ship, but also being like we're Starfleet, we're here to help, we just have to go back to the ship, here's some heat and shooting some rocks to warm people up as we go.
Yeah, it works from what you can see. You guys make it to the shuttles about the same time. Marcus and Alexia are with you. Alexia comes and looks confused, looking at you, Lord Runner. He's like, "Why aren't you at the control room?" And he looks over to the other Marcus. He's like, "Marcus, why isn't Marcus at the control room?" And Marcus looks back.
Well, Marcus contacted me, and Marcus told me that Marcus needed me to be at the control room, but Marcus didn't want Marcus at Marcus because Marcus was marked off of Mark US. So
we need to mark where Marcus was marked.
Yes, if Mark isn't marking Marcus's mark, I'm done.
Yeah, and after saying all that, he says, "Well, he said that if he came up to the ship, he can fix it."
We are full tilting to the ship, by the way.
You're not even talking to him. You're just like,
oh my god! You just made me spray my glasses.
Is that what it is? You're not even talking to Alexia? Alexia's like, "What's going on?" And you're just
going on? Running full tilt right past him or her.
And all the confused
oh my god.
engineers and Starfleet officers are doing the same.
Yeah, no, I'm
just shooting rocks as I'm going.
I'm not actually joking. We are full tilting.
So here's what happens on their side. I'm just going to say this. So people say that they're going to come help. They land. They eat some of the food. And then they go down. All of a sudden, everything shuts down, and the last thing they see is the people who are saying they're going to help running as fast as they can away, and getting in their shuttles and flying away.
No, yeah, that's exactly right.
You guys are on par with the other, the other ones.
Hey,
I am shooting rocks. I am trying to help.
Well, you don't have a giant column of elevator to go up. I'm just like sitting there. What's actually happening the whole time is I'm silently drumming my fingers on my leg, like, "Are we at the surface yet? Are 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 we at the surface yet?" Because I'm not panicking, I swear.
So you get in the shuttle.
This is what happens when you put Ensign Marcus in charge.
You get in the shuttle, and I assume you start making your way back up then, or?
So my first and most important question is, does the shuttle work?
It does, yeah.
Okay. I'm really not understanding the rules of this tech needs to be scanned thing, but that's okay. I don't know what's going on yet. I assume, of course, that my GM knows exactly what he's doing. I have a great deal of faith in his GMing skill. He is very handsome and kind and wondrous and benevolent. And,
what are you about to try to do? What's a fire phaser is on the reactor?
Listen, I'm very good at my GM persuade skill is maxed. So basically the moment we take off, I'm going to take a second in character. Like just take 1 second, close my eyes for a second, and basically just allow myself to feel stark horror, just let that pass over me for a second. And before, I don't even care if they see me. I just, Then, I try to get a hold of the ship immediately.
As you hail the ship, you actually get... hold on. It comes on, and there's actually a female trill that answers. And it's actually the Captain, Jamia Gribben. And she looks at you, she says, "This is Captain Gribben. What's going on down there?"
The captain, don't worry, I am not sexually attracted to you.
I am, however.
I'm sorry. I'm joking. I'm joking. What I actually do is I say,
Am I on the shuttle as well?
that's a good question. Is she in the same shuttle as me?
He just
Yeah,
left
okay,
you.
okay.
He just left you, and you're down there.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's
Enjoy
like, wait, did I
the
get there?
food.
No,
Enjoy the party, Richter. No, so okay.
I'm assuming you waited for me, but
Yeah. Of course I did. Captain, we do have a code green. I don't care what you call it in retconning, but it's we do have a code green. We do have evidence and establishment of what appears to be uncontrolled Borg technology. It does not appear to be connected to the collective, but it represented what I believed to be, in my command decision, to be an immediate and apparent threat to the safety of everyone on board, and that is to say, all of my staff. Unfortunately, we have another situation. Their heating technology has just shut down, and in the process of doing so, they have activated some kind of weapon. I highly recommend the ship go to red alert.
and I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I also just quick add, and it also appears that the people down here are in their own form of a collective as well.
Wasn't aware of it. Thank you, Enchantron. Yeah,
That doesn't freak me out anymore.
No, I don't. Yeah, hang on. I scan her for Borg tech. Oh, actually, you know what? I do pause. Look at Enchantron for just a second. Pull up my tricorder and scan her. Does anything happen?
I said I did eat the food.
No, nothing happens.
Okay. Sorry, just checking. Sorry. Put the tricorder back away. Captain, pause. There are still a lot of people down there who could use their help, but I'm not sure where the people to give it.
The captain does nod her head, and the ship goes to red alert. She turns to what appears to be another science officer and looks over at her and orders that, and she says, what do you see down there? The science officer begins tapping at it, and she says, I'm not seeing anything that would pose a threat to us. It does look like the reactor has gone down. There's at least 50,000 people in that city. I'm not picking up any Borg signatures, but it would appear that the actual reactor itself, there is a power signature that's coming that appears to be connected to the reactor. It looks like it's 250 miles below the surface itself. The captain pauses a moment and looks back, and she looks to you and she says, you're sure that there was a clear and present danger posed to you and the crew while you were with them?
That is what I will put in my report, ma'am.
She shakes her head a moment.
Good food.
She stops and looks at you a second. And then she shakes her head. She says, I'm not prepared to leave 50,000 people that are unconfirmed to their deaths. She looks over. She looks over the science officer and talks to her a moment. And the long and short of it is that they have determined there is actually a way to get down through a cavern system to get down to the 250 miles below the surface to try to find the error. She looks over and she looks at him. She says, Ensign, I need you to take the shuttle down there. I'll order Commander Umbla to come from the other side to see if we can at least restore the heat. But I want you to take as much precaution as you can and stay away from the populace if possible.
Understood, ma'am. Unless you're speaking to the other ensign, in which case, never mind.
No,
I was just going to ask, could we also get more security personnel?
She looks over and the science officer,
preferably unnamed people, so that they can die before us.
She says, the science officer shakes her head. She says, there's not enough time. Get down there, be safe, restore power, and get back up as fast as possible.
Understood. Real quick, is there a replicator of any form on any of these shuttles?
Sure. There is on yours.
Perfect. I would like to arm my people with melee weapons.
Okay.
I don't know what I need to do to make that happen, other than punching a few buttons on a.
Get a batleth, and you get a batleth.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not really kidding. There's
no. It makes total sense.
Yeah, no, you can make batleths. I'm not gonna let you, or swords or whatever.
whatever. I don't care about the weapon. I care that it's a melee weapon. You've all been
I
trained
want
in the usage of martial. What would you like, Ensign
I
Sean?
want that. I was just gonna say I want the Sulu Kelvin sword that like folds out.
Oh, dude, that sword's awesome.
Yeah, I dibs that. But other than that, I was just like, yep, agree, totally makes sense.
Take the Mazmune from Final Fantasy VII. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I'll take the Buster Sword. I got this, guys. Can someone help me lift this?
It's like
I think, and some Marcus, are you compensating for something?
It's like-
No, listen. I'm not sexually attracted to you.
it's like the machinima from FF7. That's like, does he have a Buster Sword on that bike? Yeah, it's completely. What's he say? It makes no sense. It is completely impractical to have that type of weapon or something like that. Talking about
It's fine. It's fine.
So Ensign Monsoon,
Anyways.
a female looks up and she says, "So we're going back down there?"
Yeah. Make sure we're all armed with melee weapons. We're going to try and see what we can do immediately. We're going to be setting up pattern enhancers once we get down there. I actually was going to do that last time, but honestly, I thought the emergency of the situation was too quick to get the hell out of Dodge. Pause for a moment. And I turn to Ensign Shran. I say, Ensign Shran, I trust and respect you, and I do not find you sexually attractive. Would you do me a favor and tell me, do you think we should split up or we should go down as a group?
Oh, definitely. Why don't you and I both go down as a group, but we'll leave a shuttle nearby that is prepared to beam people away.
That's a good idea, especially if we get those pattern hatches ringing. Good thinking.
Yeah.
So Ensign Monsoon says, "Yes, sir," and then she starts tapping in. Your shuttle breaks away and makes for where the caverns are. It actually dips down and starts going under. It's not the easiest maneuvers, but the Ensign seems to be handling it fine. There's at least 5 or 6 others there with you. About 3 of them have red shirts and the rest have blue. And of course the Ensign Monsoon, who I made an engineer. I'm not sure why I did that. So you guys continue making your way down. Once you get to about 250 feet, 251, you come upon what is a cavernous area that seems to just go on for miles, farther than the eye can see. What you actually find is it looks like this vast city. From the architecture, it appears to be early 23rd century. Unlike what you saw up, it's not like Victorian architecture or anything like that. It's like you were in the 23rd century during the times of Kirk and whatnot. It doesn't look familiar, so it's not like Starfleet or anything like that. But you can tell that's the type of society. There are crashed shuttles and vehicles. And the entire area is just completely covered in snow and ice. In the distance, towards what looks like the middle, you see a superstructure that appears domed, and it almost looks like a command center you've seen the command centers from StarCraft. It looks similar to that.
Have I ever played StarCraft?
StarCraft? I've
heard of it. It's like you go around, you break blocks, and like you use it to mine stuff.
Oh yeah. The I was trying to think of something funny. It didn't come to me. So
Terraria, I think, is the name.
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as Ensign,
the Riemann craft, is that what it is? Yeah.
It looks Riemann, sir. No, she says it looks like that's where the power signature is coming from. It appears that there's some kind of connected link between that superstructure and the reactor itself. There's also I don't know, there's something that is firing a blast that we can firing some sort of beam. Sensors can barely understand what it is, but it's actually going past the planet.
Beam to the sky?
Yeah.
She looks down and she says, "Would you like me to try to determine where it's coming from, sir?"
Yes.
She says, "I'm a fucking engineer. What do you want from me?"
I want you to do your goddamn job, and then start beating you with the phaser.
Calm down.
Wait,
sorry,
you're right. I'm sorry.
Partner, he's a bad ensign. I'm a good ensign.
I holster the phaser, grab the bat lift.
No,
Calm down.
Stop the math, the bad.
Why do you think I wanted the batleths?
She says, we're getting a message that says, welcome to High Charity. Now, she shakes her head. I can't make heads or tails of this sensor work, sir. Would you like to do it, or like to have someone who's an actual science officer do it so that their stats...
Wait, we have science officers here?
Yeah. In fact, you have quite a few.
Oh, that's true. Ensign Mike, you're a science officer. Do me a favor and try and figure out, actually, two things, if you will. I want to know where it's coming from, and I want to know where it's aiming.
I'm against it, sir, but I'll do it.
If you sit... I got a batleth right here, all right? Ensign Mike, you're on thin ice.
Actually, sir, we're surrounded by ice. It doesn't appear to be thin, though.
I kill him. I kill him immediately.
He walks over and begins scanning. And he says, well, I'm looking at this, sir. It appears to be... It looks like it's some form of advanced tractor beam aimed at the planet next to us, sir. It appears to be pulling the planet away from the sun.
What?
That sounds awesome.
I told you I'm against it.
I want to be clear that what is actually in character.
Oh yeah, the awesome also is in character.
there's our personalities in one word for both of us. Awesome. What?
He shakes his head. He says, yes, sir, it appears to be an advanced tractor beam. It looks like it's pulling the planet away from the sun, though. It's only holding it from the sun. It doesn't appear to be taking it off course.
So So it's been doing this since we got here?
I can't be sure. It looks like it may have It looks like this has been activated. We'll have to actually go there for me to be completely sure, but from all the scans, this has to have been active for centuries.
Well,
your accent's weird.
Yeah, your accent's bouncing all over the place.
I'm against it, sir.
It's okay. You know, I ain't here to judge.
I'm
not here to judge. Sam, I'm going to need you to take us down there. We're going to have to let Atlanta check it out right now, sir.
I can keep trying to talk like this, but I'm not sure you'll be able to
understand,
sir.
You humans. I don't
humans
get it.
And your fancy.
I scratch my chin.
You pink skins.
I'll tell you what we really need to do is we need to be getting down there and maybe be saying what we can say with regards to being in Paris, and I think that'll give us a new insight.
I'm
done.
He's like,
we should. Well, basically, I turned to you and actually in character says like we should beam down there, but make sure let's leave Ensign who is this Ensign?
Monsoon
Marcus?
is the driver.
Monsoon. Well, who's the science officer?
That's Mike.
Mike should leave Ensign Mike up here to beam us out as if there's any issues, and as soon as we beam in there, we'll set up the pan enhancers.
Yeah, I actually agree completely. Let's do it. Did anyone here specialize and take any extra electives in transporter control back in the academy?
Monsoon raises her hand.
You're the pilot, alright? That's your job. Your job is to be here, alright? Oh wait, you can do that while flying. Here, could you beam us down, please?
I grab a pattern enhancer. Like I'm never gonna understand humans and their damn accents.
And they told me the command track was the harder of the two. No, she's like, they told me the command track was the harder between engineering and command. Before you say anything, you're beamed down.
Ah!
You yell that, oh my god! What's this blue stuff? Wow. What time is it? Okay.
6:45.
Yeah, so you actually
find we could chop it here if you want.
Well, no, I have a place, but we're close.
Okay. Okay.
We're there. As you beam down, you're beamed actually into the operations center itself. It as well is covered in ice. However, there is power that is leading to it. At the very back, you see what looks like a blonde individual. It's a female, obviously. She's wearing a uniform itself, and
obviously,
She's actually talking, but it's in like a skip thing, and it looks like kind of like the VHS thing, and there's no sound coming from it. And there are controls, various controls around her that have there are various controls and different monitors that appear to be active and having different statistics and displays.
If I called you queen, would that stimulate you in any way?
I walk up and I say, "Excuse me, yes, I do not find you sexually attractive. Now, I would like to." I'm sorry, I'll shut up about that.
No, please do, because I want to be like, I do every time.
So, to better describe, the woman is actually she's on a display, so it's like something is.
She's like Holly from
it's a recording.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah, it looks like a recording, is what it is.
So what I was going to first test, and you could just tell me yes or no, is does she respond to anything like hello, testing, computer?
No, she just appears to be talking, but you can't hear what she's saying back and
The Genesis what?
I look for. Is there a console nearby?
The console's in front of her.
Can I? Do we have a science officer who can tech the tech?
That would be Ensign Mike, don't we?
Well, I mean, you have Ensign Mike, but he's like, he's like, all right, well, I guess science means engineer too. And he's like,
No, Ensign Monsoon was the engineer. I've been keeping notes, sir.
Yeah. And Ensign Monsoon taps on. She's like, I heard you need me, sir. Shall I beam down as well?
Oh, stop! Ensign Monsoon, stay up there.
Okay.
Fine. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it. We'll do it live. I go to the thing and see if I can turn on the sound on the display. Try and hear what she's saying.
No, you don't get anything. Would you like trying to work on the console or not really?
Yeah, I'll work at the console.
All right, give me a control plus science.
Actually, if I could jump in, I forget exactly how it works, but one of my things allows me to basically, if she succeeds, we get a momentum.
Okay.
So I'm going to be a commander and use my command ability so that if you succeed, we get a bonus momentum.
Well, don't worry. I got a critical failure.
Wonderful.
And a fail. So 2 failures, one of them being critical.
Well, at least.
Wow.
Well, at least we'll just remove the choice
I am
for
an
you.
awful commander, apparently.
It's like, so you see Ensign Masterson come up behind you and puts his hand on your shoulder. He's like, "You are the best officer I've ever seen, and you can do this. I just want you to know.
do this. Just own it.
Own it. Faith. Own it.
I have faith in you. I got the reference. I got you. You go for it.
And then you start tapping. And he starts screaming behind you. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. All right, you guys get. Here's the thing about the dice with you guys, and this has never happened with another group. I mean, there's other groups that it's happened with, but never so consistently. You roll like at the critical failures are at the worst possible point. Like,
oh, good.
The ship explodes.
There are so many critical failures and things you could have done, and this one is actually a tipping point. Okay, give me a second.
I think we're actually about to die. We're gonna have to re-roll.
No.
So that's part of being a D&D player. You know, you get used to
I
re-roll.
think I have a thing that allows me to re-roll something. What are these? Because I need to look up what my fucking abilities are. What did I roll this for?
Engineering.
Engineering. Which, yeah, so I can't use that one. But
It's like, hold on, let me see.
I usually have a cheat sheet here because unfortunately this character, she doesn't tell me everything. But I need a quick see.
You used to hang with a bad crowd. Let's see what's out there. Appearances, everything.
Well, I'm trying to look at my talents are because sometimes these talents can do stuff.
Yeah, bold command, the Ashan advisor, untapped potential.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I think the Ushan actually lets me do something, but I have to look real quick.
It's in Monsoon. That's insubordination. I'll have your badge, Ensign.
Talent. Let's see. Species talent. Here it is. I'm pulling it up real quick. Nope, that's nothing helpful. That's if I'm in. That's if I'm in a battle.
Fine. It'll be good. To be continued. So
okay.
As you're tapping at it, there's like this huge red button that you see, and you're like, oh, that's the one I pressed to get her to talk. And so
I like big red buttons.
Just it's funny. So you're sitting there typing, and then all of a sudden, in your eyes, you see the big red button, and it's like
and like the angel music plays.
it's reflected in your eyes. All you see is the button in your eyes, and then Pasterson's like, "No!"
In full slow mo as I'm on approach.
And then so anyway, as you're typing in, you hit the button, and all of a sudden, everything shuts down for a second. And then it reactivates, and the woman comes up, and you can actually hear her. And she says, what does she say? She says, Celestial Year 1532. The war has been going very direly. However, at this juncture, we feel that we have the ultimate weapon. The... oh, man, where did that fucking speech go? Of course I would lose it. The slipshod device will plunge our world into utter darkness, though in about 100 years should deactivate, and the temperature will go from being an ice age, a mini ice age, to back to the temperate zone. That way neither side will be able to claim victory. So while our loss is for sure, it will be bitter. After the deactivation, we will begin a complete terraforming of the planet itself, utilizing the razors. If you're watching this, I have only one word for you. And this is more of a warning, which is run. All of a sudden you hear what sounds like screams, mechanical screams, and when you look out into the city itself, well, a couple things happen. First thing that happens is you feel a shifting, and the planet itself, it feels like an earthquake as it slowly shifts back. You can see up in a terminal where the tractor beam was holding on to the other planet. It disengages, and the planet moves back into the orbit that it was meant to be in. Then, at that point, you hear what sounds like mechanical screamings of just massive amounts of death. And you look out into the city itself from the command center, and you see these horrific robotic type things that only have mouths start to jump out, and they begin to slam into buildings and start eating them. And slowly the buildings start to fall. And that's where we're going to end.
Awesome.
Good news. We didn't kill 50,000 people. We just killed 50,000 people instead.
Well, yeah, you combat them. You hit the combat just like so. Good news. They won't die of cold. Bad news is that they'll probably wish that they had.
Oh boy.
So yeah.
So it's yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So it sounds like straight up Horizon Zero Dawning it.
Horizon Zero Dawning? Was that? I was thinking.
Have you not played that game? God damn, dude, play some video games.
I've never played
right.
Horizon Zero.
It just this concept sounds just similar to that game.
Oh no, I actually took this. So there's 3 places that I took this from. I took this from Frostpunk. And I took it from, there's actually a movie, I think it's called like Screamers or something, where they have there's little robots under the ground that Screamers in 1995. Literally, they're robots that are under the ground that jump out and kill people.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So that's what you're coming back to.
Don't worry, I'm sure our shuttlecraft and transporters will work just fine.
Yep.
And as everyone knows, and by the way, Sam, thanks for the support. As everyone knows, steam runners can hold about 40,000 people plus crew.
Wait, really? I actually looked up their stats in the middle of that, and I didn't find that. Where did you find that?
It's called Plot.
It's called This is the Kelvin universe, damn it.
Everything's bigger, inexplicably.
And turbo shafts that are freaking huge and make no sense.
Yep.
At all.
I've got a bunch
here's
of
our
red
engine
matter.
room.
I've got a bunch of red matter in the back room. We'll just sort of shove that down here. It should make it all work.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. All right, so next Sunday there may be a slight issue. I'll get with you guys just to make sure, but we'll be doing this every Sunday at 5 p.m. Unless one of you need to move it forward or back?
No, this is fine with me. So.
Is it good with you?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. You tired? You phasing on?
Well, no. The only reason that I hesitated there was I'm an idiot, and I thought it was an hour earlier. And I don't know if you know this, but I schedule the hell out of my life, so I had to contact some people and be like, "Hey, I'm going to be an hour late." That's on me, though. It's just because I misread the time.
I'm flex. We can talk more offline, but I'm flexible, so I'm open if it's better for you. So.
Yeah, we'll just figure it out. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check Lore Runner at lorerunner.com, or you can check out Jessie Gender, who has been killing it when it comes to some videos that she's been doing. Just type in Jessie Gender, or what is it, Lost Trekkie or something like that.
Yeah, just look up Jessie Gender and you'll find me.
And of course, the best, most influential Twitch streamer is of course Lore Runner. So twitch.tv/ like the Lore Runner or something stupid like that. He didn't actually.
It's some ridiculous nonsense that nobody actually cares about. It's okay though, because my stream is the only stream that keeps you safe from COVID.
That's true. Only Twitch stream. Both.
Oh, you'll be hearing from the Department of Commerce, whatever the hell, people suing people. I don't know.
The Department of Commerce. The Department of Commerce is suing for people who say that they're COVID free. Because I won't.
No, that would awesome. Protect you from COVID, but whatever. Whatever, it's politics, whatever.
Guys, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.